32-year-old Shawnda Woods and Travis Woods finally staggered back home after a long night of drinking. It felt like the unofficial end of the evening, the part where the noise dies, the lights go off, and everyone pretends tomorrow will be better. At least, that's what Shawnda likely believed. What unfolded earlier in the night wasn't love-soaked banter or playful drunken laughs, but something much uglier. Sharp words, passive-aggressive jabs, and bitterness dressed up as joking. The kind of tension that makes a room uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable enough for anyone to step in. Friends noticed. They always do. They just chose silence instead, trusting that alcohol would burn itself out and sleep would do what it usually does, reset the damage. The unspoken agreement was simple. Let them go home, let the liquor fade, let morning fix it. But morning never came for both of them, because sometime between the last drink and the sun rising, the argument followed them through the front door, and by the next day, one of them was dead. Welcome to the American Crime Femicide channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. Shawnda was never just someone's wife. That's how the paperwork would eventually list her. That's how the court transcripts would reduce her. But to the people who actually knew her, Shawnda was light on 2 feet, loud in laughter, warm in spirit, and magnetic in ways that didn't need explaining. She was the kind of woman whose presence filled a room before she even said a word. Friends described her as beautiful, loving, spontaneous, someone who loved deeply, laughed freely, and lived with intention. She wasn't dull. She wasn't passive. She wasn't small. Shawnda believed in energy, in balance, in protecting her peace. She dabbled in witchcraft, not the cartoonish kind people joke about, but the quiet, personal rituals women turn to when the world keeps asking them to bend. Candles, intention, manifestation, a way to reclaim calm when life felt too loud. And after marrying Travis Woods, she needed every ounce of peace she could conjure. Travis, on the other hand, was loud chaos in human form, high-strung, energetic, outgoing, the kind of man who mistook volume for personality and recklessness for charm. By day, he worked at Gorilla Wraps, a car wrapping business that specialized in flashy designs, bright colors, loud statements, attention-grabbing aesthetics. By night, he played father when it was convenient and husband when it suited him. When it didn't, he disappeared into drinks, nights out, and excuses. Together, they had 3 daughters. Shawnda loved her children fiercely. Motherhood wasn't a role she performed. It was who she was. Their days were filled with parks and museums, beach trips, and dance parties in the living room. Laughter echoed through the house because Shawnda made sure of it. The kids weren't just fed and clothed. They were seen. They were loved. Most of the responsibility fell on Shawnda. That part wasn't negotiable. Travis helped when he could, which is a polite way of saying he showed up when asked and disappeared when not. Still, Shawnda made it work, like so many women do. She adjusted. She compensated. She carried the emotional weight of the household while pretending it wasn't heavy. When the girls got older and school claimed more of their day, Shawnda finally reclaimed a piece of herself she had put on hold for years. She launched Nirvana Beauty, a natural beauty line she created from her own kitchen. Hair products, body products, acne-clearing solutions she tested on herself before ever offering them to anyone else. She posted her progress online: clearer skin, healthier hair, confidence returning. It wasn't just a business. It was proof that she still existed outside of motherhood and marriage. She took orders. She made batches. Trial and error turned into formulas that worked. Social media became her storefront. Shawnda was finally stepping into the businesswoman she always knew she could be, the version of herself that pregnancy and marriage had delayed but not destroyed. But by 2022, marriage wasn't giving her peace. It was draining it. Travis drank when he wanted, came home when he felt like it, stumbled in at all hours of the night. His role as husband eroded. His role as father faded. Arguments became routine. Sometimes the kids heard them. Sometimes they didn't. But Shawnda always knew they existed, and that mattered enough. Then there was the filth, the mess, the disrespect dressed up as laziness. Travis didn't clean up after himself. He left trash, spills, and bodily messes behind for Shawnda to deal with. She addressed it. He ignored it. When he did respond, it turned into another argument. A cycle so predictable it barely needed dialogue. Still, life went on. Kids were raised. Holidays were celebrated. Smiles were posted. Milestones were shared. The arguments never stopped them from throwing parties or attending family events. From the outside, they looked like a couple who would last forever. Pictures smiled. Captions lied. Halloween 2022 was one of their favorites. Shawnda dressed as Maleficent, powerful, dramatic, commanding. Travis wore costumes too. The irony writes itself. Friends came over before trick-or-treating. The girls laughed. Photos were taken. By the end of the night, they were back home and arguing. Again. Raising kids. Partying. Fighting. Repeat. But December 9, 2022 was different. That morning, Travis walked into the Charles County Sheriff's Office and asked for a welfare check on his home in Waldorf, Maryland, a quiet suburb outside Washington, D.C. Then he asked for a lawyer, because apparently, concern and legal counsel go hand in hand when you already know what police are about to find. Deputies responded to his home on Tawny Drive. The door was unlocked. Inside, they found Shawnda in her bed, dead. A single gunshot wound to the back of her head. Execution style. While she slept, a firearm was recovered. It had Travis's DNA on it. The night before, the family had gone out to eat together. All 5 of them. Dinner. Normalcy. The illusion of togetherness. Afterwards, Shawnda and Travis dropped the girls off at home and went out again, this time to a hookah lounge. Drinks were consumed. They returned home around 2 a.m. Sometime after that, Travis urinated on the floor outside the bathroom. Yes, really. That was the breaking point. Shawnda told him he needed to be out of the house by the weekend. Enough was enough. Boundaries were drawn. Consequences were spoken aloud. And that, apparently, was unforgivable. According to prosecutors, while Shawnda lay asleep in her bed, Travis retrieved his registered firearm and shot her once in the back of the head. No argument. No confrontation. No chance to defend herself, just silence, followed by violence. At around 8:30 a.m., Travis woke up their 3 daughters. He told them they were going to their grandmother's house. He instructed them not to wake their mother, not to go into her room. He drove them away from the house where their mother's body lay cooling. Then he went back home. For hours. Prosecutors never clarified what he did during that time. Sat with the body, cleaned up, reflected. None of it matters. What matters is that he returned to his mother's house later and confessed to killing Shawnda. Then he went back home again before finally turning himself in. The cruelty didn't end with the bullet. It extended into every decision that followed. During sentencing, Assistant State's Attorney John Stackhouse spoke about the impact on Shawnda's children. 3 little girls ripped from their home, their school, their neighborhood. Their lives permanently altered because their father decided his ego mattered more than their mother's life. Shawnda would never take them to Girl Scouts, never watch them play sports, never see first dates, graduations, weddings, or grandchildren. All of it stolen by the man who was supposed to protect them. The betrayal was immeasurable, the trauma layered. 3 children forced to grapple with the reality that their father murdered their mother while they slept in the same house. On January 8, 2026, more than 3 years after the killing, Travis Woods was sentenced to life in prison plus 15 years for first-degree murder and use of a firearm during a crime of violence. The judge didn't mince words. The act was cold-blooded, the violence extreme, the callousness rare, the damage excessive and permanent. Shawnda's daughters, now teens and preteens, are being raised by her family. They are surrounded by love, stability, and respect, a small comfort in an ocean of loss. They seem perfect. That's the part people cling to. But pictures never tell the truth. Captions never confess. An 8-year marriage built on arguments, disrespect, and emotional erosion doesn't announce its ending. It implodes quietly. Shawnda wanted more. More light. More peace. More herself. She wanted out. Instead, she went to sleep beside the enemy. Did Travis ever love her? His actions answered that question with a gunshot. All that remains now is memory. Shawnda Woods, mother, business owner, woman, human being, remembered not for how she died, but for how she lived, with compassion, with love, with light. May Shawnda Woods rest in peace.